are, kids, located in Florida. Not your typical 25 degrees, 6 inches of snow like you are back in Ohio. As you know, as you look in the background here, we're located on the beach, Panama City Beach, named after spring break. Today, we will be talking about low tide and high tide. Do any of you know anything about low tide or high tide? Well, in this video, I will not only talk about that, but also other great things to learn about the ocean and how things work.
As you can see, class, I decided to dry off, come back inside so we can talk a little bit about high tides and low tides. First of all, I'd like to say that high tides and low tides are really predictable. We as scientists can tell exactly when they're going to happen, whether it's every day, every month, every year. Years that come in the future, we can tell you exactly what time and how they will come in, whether it's high tide or low tide. The reason high tide and low tide occurs is because of gravity. If you didn't know, gravity between the Earth and Moon and Earth and Sun plays a huge role in high tide and low tide. High tide occurs when the gravitational pull between the Earth and the Moon is strongest throughout the day. This will happen twice a day. When there's very little gravitational pull between the two, we will have low tide where the ocean doesn't come up as far on the shore. Another thing that a lot of people don't know is that when it's high tide on this side of the Earth, on the complete opposite side of Earth, it will also be high tide. Just as when it's low tide here, it will be low tide on the other side. The reason we have high tide and low tide is because of the shape of the Earth. If the shape of the Earth was completely circular, we would have 2 tides a day that would both be of equal strength, so there would be no such thing as high tide or low tide, but every tide would be exactly the same. When doing some research, one thing I found really interesting and important was finding out what spring tides were. Spring tides are when the Earth, Sun, and Moon all align together, and it makes the tides much stronger. High tides will come in a lot farther, and low tides will stay out in the ocean a ways. These happen twice a month, and if you ever get the opportunity to see one of these, if you're at an ocean somewhere, definitely do it.
As I said in the previous scene, spring tides occur twice a month. This is during new moon and full moon. I thought it would be helpful if you could actually see a visual of when spring tides occur. The main misconception when learning about spring tides is that they occur only in the spring. Actually, the term has nothing to do with the seasons, and they occur every month of the year 2 times. So that is a quick description of spring tides.
Well, class, that's our little discussion on high tide and low tide. I'm going to head back out to the ocean, so I'll catch you guys later.
I hope you guys learned a little something about high tide and low tide. As you can see, science is all around us. Catch you in class tomorrow.